Hi guys, I'm back up here with another daily motivational message for the collective. Remember, all messages are not for all, they're for some. Take what you need to leave the rest. As well as we got that slot open for personal readings. If you feel guided or interested in purchasing one of those, you know what to do. DM me. We can get you set up. Come fuck with your girl, okay? As well as drop a comment down below. Love to hear from you guys. Let's start the discussion. As well as let's go share these vids, man. Let's get this divine knowledge out here for the collective so we all can get on one accord, okay? So that's about it. We got one card for the meat and potatoes of this reading from the, what is this, Book of Awareness cards I've been using. Boom. That's what that looks like. And then we got 3 cards from the regular tarot, the black ones. Boom. All right, so that's about it. I'm going to take a sip of this because my mouth's dry. Yeah. That's about it. So let's go on and get it popping, okay? So the message is we become each other. We become each other, okay? So before we even turn this over, this is what the definition of being equally yoked is, right? And when we talk about being equally yoked, we're talking about, yes, you can talk about in partnership and this, that, and the third, but a lot of these messages has to do with building your relationship and your strengthening that presence of God within your life, right? So in this case, what this equally yoked energy is being equally yoked with your Creator, right? Becoming one, completing, really honoring that covenant that you have with your Creator, right? Right, so let's go on and get it popping, okay? So the message is, once again, we become each other. Boom, that's what it looks like. Yeah. Through cancer and grief and disappointment and unexpected turns in career, right? Through the very breakdown and rearrangement of the things I have loved, I have come to realize that as water soothes stones and enters sand, we become each other, okay? Boom, right? So like I said, with this message here, it has to do with becoming equally yoked with your Creator. This is that type of energy, especially when you see a lot of this really play out is when you're going through adversity, when God is like testing you, when God is putting you through the ringer as you're going through the furnace, right? This is when you really start to really grow closer to God. If you're really seeking your Creator, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time when you go through grief and suffering, delays, adversity, wild ties, and things like that in your life when it requires you to step into your fight or flight mode, right? That's when you really cling to the source, right? In these moments in time, instead of getting into survival mode, this is where you sit down and ask God, can I have a word, right? I need a word from you, right? This is that type of energy. It's about you really understanding your situation, regardless of what you're going through, before reacting impulsively, right? Right, yeah, this is that type of energy with the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups has to do with self-love, self-awareness, self-amortization, self-discipline, self-respect, self-realization, all of the self, everything self-discovery, everything, right? It has to do with discovering oneself and filling oneself's cup up, right? This cup is overfilled, right? It's runneth over when you're in complete contact with God, when you're in complete communication with God, and when that signal is very potent in your life, when you once again become equally yoked to your Creator, right? Becoming equally yoked. Yeah. becoming equally yoked to your creator, right? This is that type of energy. In these moments in time, you start to understand and release certain things in your life that you once wanted or once needed, or you felt that you needed. That shit starts to fall on the wayside, because the things that fill your desires or fills your quote unquote heart, God fills that space, that void. You get what I'm saying? This is that type of energy as we move forward on our journeys, is understanding our voids, understanding our reactions and behaviors. What are we doing to fill those voids, right? When you find God in a way that you find God, that void that you have within oneself is filled, right? If I could be really relatable to you, right? Before I even got onto this spiritual journey, I always say, like, I actually woken up, like, had my awakening, right? Wake up in 2012, right? Right when Kendrick just came out. We had Good Kid, Mad City, and for those who fuck with Section 8, Section 80. That's the fucking album. Excuse me, guys. Section 80, I believe, by Kendrick Lamar, right? Those two albums were really big on my spiritual awakening, right? Within that time frame, I was experiencing a lot of different shit on my spiritual path, right? But I always relate those moments within my life as like the highest moments I've ever like felt God in, right? This is that type of energy. Within those spaces, I learned how to speak tongues and all these different things. God showed me a lot of stuff within that period. But within that period, fast forward going through time, that was 2012, there was a big delay. There was a big silence. I probably like had that connectivity. The signal was strong, right? For like a year, right? From 2012 to 2013. And then there was this big silent period from 2014 all the way to 2018, right? Where I couldn't hear God. I was in search, right? And the thing is with God, as you're moving on your spiritual path and becoming equally yoked with your creator, God will put you in a period called the silence, right? Where you're in this position of searching, looking through the Bible, looking through these different places of searching for God, going back to that extreme, quote unquote, metaphorically, that spiritual high that you had before you woken up, when you felt the closest to God when you woken up, right? This is that equally yoked, that process of being equally yoked into your when it comes to you and your creator, right? So fast forward 2018, my whole life went through from kind of upside down, where I had no choice but to surrender to God and like literally be like, God, what do you want me to do? Because obviously you had me here, right? God revealed so much stuff within that time. And that's when that connection was found. But it was challenged. And within those times, when you first discover who God is, it's going to be challenged. It's going to be clashing against the belief systems that you've already developed, right? And the conditionings of the world, all these different things, it's going to clash with you in this covenant, this relationship with God. And it's here, right, for you to work through, right, to build that relationship. Because when you break down these borders, when you break down these walls, right, with your creator, that's when you strengthen that bond up, right? But you got to understand, everything, you suck at it at the beginning of starting something, right? You're learning you're I guess unlearning and relearning, right, who God is, right? This is that type of energy. Because I always say, y'all know God don't reveal things to you unless you're ready. So God's going to reveal certain pieces of itself to you when you're ready, right? So that being said, back then in 2012, God revealed to me the Spirit. I got baptized in that year, right? So speaking in tongues, these different things, the Bible version of the source, and just getting the understanding. I was learning how to pray then. I was learning the basics of my journey in 2012, right? Fast forward, going through that silent period, landing into 2018. My awareness of God was more advanced, right, than it was back in 2012. So that being said, that all the little things that I was learning in 2012 ain't gonna cut it here, right? As we were going through that 4-year gap there, right, from 2014 to 2018, right, there was a gap of silence. Trying to use old tools that worked back then wasn't working here, where God revealed more to me. God helped me discover who I am on a deeper level, right? This is why I do cards. This is why I do all of this stuff. This is why I channel. This is why I do all, I have a great, so far, still learning, but so far, a great awareness of God in these moments in time, because my tools switched, right? At this moment in time, right, I developed new tools, right? Old tools will not, I guess, be able to be used in a new space, within a new within a new place, within a new phase in your life, right? So 2012 tools ain't gonna work for 2023, right? This is that type of energy where there's just gonna do nothing but create confusion, right? So with this type of energy, what this equally yoked energy has to do with is your world will constantly clash with the divine as you strengthen that relationship up, because what it's doing is breaking these conditionings off of you, right? This is that type of energy here, right? This is that type of energy. God is really stripping us naked, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time. And you know what's coming to me? God is really bringing to my mental state right now is when Adam and Eve discovered when they were naked, right? When they discovered when they were naked and they hid from God, right? And if we really want to break that down, right, and on a surface level, we think, yeah, Eve ate from the tree, all this good stuff, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But if we really break down the symbolism and the underlying message of what is being said there is when God strips us down naked, right? Completely naked, we feel uncomfortable. We feel exposed, right? Can't hide no more, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time. If we really break that down, right, is God exposing the things that we cloak ourselves with, right? The things that we hide ourselves with, the things that we refuse to see, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time if we really want to think about it. God, walking on a path with God, God is going to unclothe you, right? Unclothe you, right? God is going to expose you, right? This is that type of energy. Yeah, I can't make this shit up with the judgment card. Y'all know this is my God card. Here's God right here, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time. When you're called to come home, right? God is going to put you through a journey. It's like spiritual boot camp, right? As you're ready to return home, back to your creator, to who you are, right? You're going to have to be unlearn the conditions of the world that you've learned, right? This is that type of energy where you deal with the clashing, you deal with the push and pull, the push and pull dynamic with being 1 foot in the world and 1 foot at home, 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in Zion, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time here. Within these spaces, your world will be challenged. This is where it requires actions and behavior. It's an action to walk with God, right? It's a lifestyle to walk with God, right? When you know it's an action and a lifestyle, you know that this is never ending, right? You know that you're always on the go, right? You're always for the kingdom, right? It never stops. It's 24/7, 7 days a week, right? Or 24 hours, 7 days a week, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time, right? When it comes to, right? Yeah, with the 2 of Cups, once again, it has to do with the covenant, being equally yoked to your creator. Because you have to understand the moment that you find that sweet spot when it comes to you and God. It's a different type of love. It's a different type of space to be in. Where you want to know what this type of energy is? This is for those that have experienced this, right? Let's say you in church. Or let's say there was a guy that just done just awful stuff, right? He was doing the most, hurting people, causing mayhem, whatever, right? In the world. Doing shit in the world, right? And he goes to church and decides to give his life back to God. When God decides to choose you, right? When God starts to overwhelm you, right? What happens is that ego shit falls off of you. What happens is those transitions fall off of you. Next thing you know, all you can do is cry and speak in tongues, right? This is that moment when somebody get their life back to God. Right? When you give your life back to God, God overwhelms you. It's a different type of feeling. It's a different type of love. Right? This is that type of energy where that void within oneself is now filled because you return back home to your source. Right? This is that type of energy. So that being said, when you return back home to your source, things that fill that void, right? That is limited because the world's limited, right? Right. You no longer hold on to those things. This is where you start to lose your attention, lose your interest within things that are not serving you, or within the world, or within your job, or within where you're at, all the worldly shit, right? That's when you let go of that and you start to see God in his full form. Yeah, in his full form, right? This is that type of energy, okay? So to wrap this message up, it has to do with being equally yoked with God. But to be equally yoked with God, you're going to have to understand the consequences of doing that, right? Because God is going to expose you. God is going to declothe you, right? You're going to have that Adam and Eve type of moment, right? Where it's like, yo, you see me like this, right? You see me as a full being that I am, right? And that freaks me out, that makes me uncomfortable, right? Where this is that type of energy here in these moments in time here to even be able to walk on a path like that. You're going to have to be fully naked. You're going to have to be fully transparent. And if you're not ready to do that and you're chosen and God chose you, God God's anointing. You're anointed. There's anointedness. Is that a word? Anointedness? I don't know. You got an anointing on your life. Boom. God is gonna train you into that. God's gonna instill that into you in any way, shape, or form. If that comes into hard lessons, hard cycles, right? Because you got to understand, a hard head soft. Are we back, guys? I'm sorry. There's probably some intense energy here, so excuse that. Anyways, a hard head makes a soft ass, right? So that being said, God will instill that shit in you in any way, shape, or form, right? Understanding when life chin checks your motherfucking ass, right? Being ready for that. You know, you gotta understand, man, like, life and God will put you through situations where life will chin check your ass, right? Show up and be like, what's good, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time. Really understanding that, right? As you go through your journey, okay? I feel like I'm rambling, but yeah, man, it's all about being equally yoked. But being equally yoked, you gotta be ready for that because you'll be challenged. You'll be challenged, right? A lot of people have to understand you will be challenged on your journey of discovery of God. If you do not understand that, right, it's gonna blindside your fucking ass, right? And on this side, especially fucking with me and all that, and on our journey towards enlightenment, and then on our journey towards strengthening that relationship with God, most times we're not blindsided, right? We try to prepare most of the time. You can't ever be fully prepared, but what you can do is be prepared mentally. What you can do is be prepared emotionally to take your fucking journey. To take your journey. Right? And if you know the card in the tarot deck, the Six of Wands? Wands, yeah. The Six of Wands. It's a man on a horse, right? On a journey, right? And it's representing taking a journey from point A to point B, right? Before you take that journey from point A to point B, you got to prepare. You got to make sure you got enough water. You got to make sure you got enough food. You got to make sure you know where you're going to be sheltered at. You're going to have to make sure that you know the distance, you know the time, you know where you're going, right? You know where it's at, right? This is that type of energy in these moments in time. You know who you have to meet at plan B, right? At wherever you're trying to go, right? You got to line all that shit up before you take your journey. We don't take journeys and go as we go. Like, fuck no, right? And that's like your journey with God, right? You got to prepare mentally. You do got to prepare emotionally before you decide to walk in that direction. Yeah, will God give you random ass events, random ass trials, random ass tribulations, random shit? Yes. But what do we know? We're mentally prepared and emotionally prepared to go on the journey. So despite what's thrown at you, you already expected, yep, that was going to come, right? Because I prepared my mind for any hiccups. I prepared my mind to be chin checked by life. I prepared my mind and my heart to experience my journey. So nothing is new under the sun. Literally, right? This is that type of energy, okay? I'm rambling, guys. I'm going to close it here. All right? Remember, take what you need and leave the rest. As well as we got that slot open for personal readings. If you feel guided or interested in purchasing one of those, you know what to do. DM me. We can get you set up. Come fuck with your girl, okay? As well as drop a comment down below. Love to hear from you guys. Let's start the discussion so we all can get on one accord. Last but not least, man, let's share these vids, man. Let's get this divine knowledge out here for the collective so we all can get on one accord, okay? All right, so to closing out, last message is it's about us being equally yoked with our Creator, God, the Most High. Because when we're in understanding, when we're going on a journey towards being equally yoked to your Creator, right? You will be challenged by that. Your old world will come to see you to make sure where you're trying to go is really what you're trying to go. So you're going to experience temptation. You're going to experience distraction, right? The Jezebel spirit, right? Right? Yeah. So it's about being prepared for that. mentally and emotionally, okay? All right, I want you guys to have a good day. Stay up, and bye-bye.